Greetings, greetings, esteemed constellations. I know I've been on hiatus for a little bit, but that changes now. Starting the memory of Chapter 15, Time Limit 3. Sanzo Minorikawa is the guild master of the Asakusa Gurus, based out of Taito Ward. Unlike other sacred artifacts, however, the scriptures he bears do not afford him any powerful rules, but rather restrict what he is permitted to do. No harming others, no lies or deception, no coveting, no promiscuity or untoward behavior, no forfeiture of self-control or agency, even in death. It's the 5 precepts of Buddhism, but taken to extremes, with many additional stipulations and prohibitions on top of them, including some oddly specific and questionable ones, such as no thinking about the future. This sacred artifact's effects apply to all who've come into direct contact with it, so for Sanzo, it is compulsory to have it in his possession at all times. Ultimately, this means he must avoid the taboos outlined within these scriptures at all costs, even if doing so proves fatal. But with the app loaded to help keep him safe, Sanzo looks up to the sky and reflects upon the precepts that bind him. Sure doesn't seem like it's going to be a walk in the park around here, does it? There was a time when the Asakusa neighborhood Sanzo inhabited was frankly a rather rough place to live. Characters who looked like they'd leaped right out of a fairy tale always seemed to be fighting with one another by the roadside. And whenever Sanzo would go to intervene, he'd wind up in such a sorry state that words couldn't even do it justice. Sanzo hates pain, so he always seeks to live in peace with those around him as best he can. He installed the app solely to protect himself from harm, since his sacred artifact certainly isn't of much help to that end. So his involvement in tense situations is usually the result of him seeing a rock in the road, so to speak, and feeling he has no choice but to move it. It's written in the scriptures that one must show compassion toward others in all matters. So whenever a fight breaks out, Sanzo cannot simply look the other way, but must do what he can to quell the disturbance peaceably. It's likely that even Motosumi doesn't fully grasp the ramifications of this. And so again and again, Sanzo puts himself in harm's way, and again, he suffers more pain than anyone else may know. Yet it's precisely because of this perceived selflessness that Sanzo had been made guildmaster of the Asakusa Gurus. In his head, he couldn't help but think to himself, "No, I don't want this. I must decline." To be put in such a position could only lead to even more intense suffering, so much that death could be a real possibility. Even now, Sanzo Minarikawa doesn't understand how things got to this point. It's as though the people around him are oblivious, as every time he declined, he somehow found himself even more strongly advocated for. His newfound popularity was downright frightening. Yet should this misunderstanding come to light, he fears he could be subject to backlash unlike any he's ever faced before. Aren't firearms against the law? How the hell did how the hell did things get to this point? It's just Sanzo's luck, or lack thereof. He winds up in situations like this. So often it's practically another Tuesday to him now. But this certainly is something else. Being dragged away to who knows where and forced to stand up to the absolute scariest of opponents. Still, he really is used to it at this point. And in the end, no matter who his opponent may be, Sanzo has but one recourse available to him. The key to victory is exposing others to his scriptures. If he can get his opponent to touch his sacred artifact, that, and that alone, will win the fight. Should his opponent come in contact with it, he would be forced to abide by its precepts, including the one forbidding all harm against others. But what Sanzo does not realize is just how many people the opponent who now stands before him has slaughtered. Kokopelli is his name, and he's a modified insectoid. He was born as an ordinary Tokyoite, but was heavily experimented on and possessed by the spirit of a lucky grasshopper transient. The transient possessing him comes from the world of the Great Spirit and represents a very specific faith. The grasshopper playing its flute is seen as a bearer of good fortune, but once the insect departs, so too does the luck it brought, with ill omens befalling those left behind. Additionally, should the grasshopper play its flute directly into the earth, the ground unto which the melody is imparted, and the lives of all who dwell upon it are instantly forfeit. Even against the strongest of opponents, with the most robust of rules, a single face-off against Kokopelli is all it takes to suffer the ultimate defeat and depart this mortal coil. Former researchers at the now-defunct Tokyo Laboratory regarded this as a form of probability manipulation and considered it the very key to a future breakthrough. And unto this already powerful specimen, the rulemakers imparted even more future memories by way of the transplant surgery. Now, Kokopelli's attacks are not just deadly, but preemptive. His opponents are assured to lay down their lives before the fight even begins. Sanzo brandishes his sacred artifact with the intent to expose his opponent to it. But before he can take even the first step closer, his body is unavoidably pierced by a bullet that strikes him square and true. This outcome was known before the fight even began. By all rights, There should be no one in Tokyo faster on the draw than Kokopelli. Time is his friend, and none can delve deeper or more readily into the future than he. All around Tokyo Station, world representatives clash with one another as the warmongers and invaders join forces against the rulemakers. Into this fray steps Onyankopan, world representative of Agi Simba. Onyankopan, so nice of you to join us. Things seem to have gotten rather lively around the portal in our absence, but things also tend to change rather quickly. The Game Masters will intervene soon, at which point a ceasefire will no doubt be declared. By then, the clock should just about have run out for my sibling and that little fancy-free Mega Alliance. Nomad and Algernon continue their intense fight, rapidly switching locations with each blow. You're looking a bit worse for the wear. Do you still intend to resist us, detective? Or are you gonna take the clue and give in? Shut the hell up! You may be strong, but you're pushing yourself just as much as I am. Gah! Starting to decelerate now, huh? Maybe it's not so easy, being the newest model after all. Buddy! With his cooling device overheating, the inevitable slowing of Algernon's augmentations is beginning to take effect. Good. I'm nowhere going back to the way I was before. Never! A memory of his past, from before he received the intelligence acceleration surgery, briefly flashes through Algernon's mind. Everyone was always making fun of him. He took so long to process information, people would constantly laugh at him behind his back. And the worst part is, he didn't even realize it. He was too slow on the uptake to even notice that he was being made fun of. People would even play tricks on him. They'd try to pull the wool over his eyes, but he just kept smiling and falling for it, oblivious to everything. The first real friend he made was a mouse, and he ultimately underwent the same experimentation as that mouse. It was then, after receiving the intelligence acceleration surgery, that his mind soared, and he instantly became aware of what was happening around him. Even though he hadn't picked up on it this whole time, it suddenly clicked in his mind just how malicious, how cruel everyone around him had been up till now. They all seemed so foolish to him in that moment. He began to see the naive happiness he'd felt before as a crutch, and embraced hatred in its place. Now, time's almost up, and he's on the cusp of reverting back to his ignorant, yet happy old self. And that thought terrifies him. He doesn't want to go back, not after finally gaining the ability to survive, and even thrive within this society. That's why he joined forces with the rulemakers. But should he fail to get results, there's no place for him there either. No matter what he has to give up, he wants to continue to surpass others. He's willing to offer himself up for whatever surgery he needs to make that happen, ethical or otherwise. Gah! Gah! With a mighty war cry, Algernon charges at Nomad. Here I thought you were just playing tough, but it seems you've got some guts in you after all, Cleaner. Alright, now before I go, I just want to let you guys know that I have some new polls. So vote on the polls in the post section of my channel to decide which transients I have on my roster the next time I engage in a battle in this game.